So basically, for our practice in Australia as well, I'm covering it. Um, it's like this. First and foremost, we need to ask this question: who am I? Then there's an answer. Or what am I? There's an answer. But is there any answer in silence? Okay, so then let's say you don't exist. And that's just silence. There's nothing existence. So when we say nibbana, or when it is uttered as nibbana, it means going out of existence. Now, what is going out of existence is this nama rupa with vijnana goes out of existence. That means avidya is gone. Now we've been looking at the patisamutpada or the dependent origination, and that will be practiced when we meet in another few weeks' time, till the other people come to Brisbane. So what I was telling Shaniel is that we will work out on the mind illuminated as well as this portion of vipassana. So there is samathā and vipassana. It is not just vipassana. There's nothing called just samathā. They both have to be done together. So just I want to tell you before we begin into this is what is the samatha portion of it and what is vipassana portion of it. We have covered it, but it will be good to see. Yesterday, I and he were playing around with this Patisamutpada formula. So I thought it is very important to actually know what is samatha portion of it. It is from the word sama, equal. In fact, it is there in Patisambhidda Magga Pali on the definition itself. But anyway, if you have not gone there or not looked into it, sama means equal. Samatho means being in equanimity. So to be equanimous, it's necessary that you need to have first four jhanas. Okay. And to get into first four jhanas, you need to have a good grasp on the breath or any object of contemplation. We have covered in many situations, many conditions that why breath is most important, because it's neutral. Now, what do you mean by neutral is that you can't hate breath, you can't like breath, but you need to be with breath. It forces you to be there. So when we say breathless, she took my breath away. And there's a song also, you took my breath away. And what does that mean? Is that the consciousness has now gone and settled down somewhere. So there is a uneasiness. Let's say, to cite an example, now that I'm going to Brisbane in few weeks, I would like to go to Gold Coast. I've gone to Sunshine Coast, but I've never gone to Gold Coast. So to enjoy Gold Coast, what I'm going to do is I'll first go and watch YouTube videos on Gold Coast. At that moment, the consciousness goes out of this plane of existence and get established in Gold Coast. So it's pulled from here to there. So this becomes a far shore and Gold Coast becomes the near shore. So the samatha is gone. So now there is an excitement of whatever I'm seeing as Gold Coast. There's no gold in the coast, but for the moment, I feel that I need to visit Gold Coast. Let's say the beach looks pretty awesome. So then the concept of beach get established in consciousness. Now, when this beach is there, I would love to be there. And then I remember Shaniel's word saying that it's very hot climate. So it dampens my spirit. So what happens? The consciousness now comes back to this place and Gold Coast become a far shore, and this house and this body becomes a near shore. And then I feel I should have been in San Francisco, which is colder than being in Gold Coast. So then I start watching videos on the Pacific. Both are Pacific only. There's nothing like that is not Pacific and this is not Pacific. But it's trans-Pacific and this Pacific. So I keep on adding these words and phrases to make something out of that water. So let's say I go now to the Golden Gate Bridge. I forget all about the Gold Coast because this is much more enjoyable. So then I start to think, after Australian tour, I could have asked Ariu that we will meet in America rather than you guys coming over to Australia. I could have made an Australian retreat and an American retreat as opposed to everyone coming to Australia. Made sense for me to be in the Gold Coast and as well as the this Golden Gate. I missed it, right? So now this becomes the far shore and that becomes a near shore. And that becomes the far shore and this becomes a near shore. So now I've gone from coast to coast. So I'm here physically and then I'm there mentally in Gold Coast. And then I'm now gone into the Golden Gate. But actually, there's just a beach. It doesn't matter what it is, it's sand and water. There's nothing else there, it's just foam. But my mind says, no. When I say my mind, I'm just using the word my and mine, mind, and all that. But what's the experience I'm getting? The conscious experience is Gold Coast is different, and Golden Gate is different. The water in Golden Gate is different, and the water in Gold Coast is different. And maybe Shaniel is not talking, but I think he should actually interrupt and say that, Vilasji, don't worry, we'll go to Gold Coast. That would make me not go to Golden Gate. But for whatever reason, he's not coming forward and saying that, don't worry, I'm there, I'll take you there. It would have relieved me. I don't know why. He still, after prompting, also he doesn't do it. I don't know. He has a purpose. But anyway, but he could have actually made my life much simpler by just saying, don't worry, I'm here to, like a chauffeur, I'm driving you to this Gold Coast. So let's say he says, I'm going to go take you to Gold Coast. Then the next question comes, when? 30th? First, second, third, fourth, 5, 6, 20th, 25th. And Shaniel says on 9th of Jan. My God, my pain is starting today. It's 10th of November for next 60 days. If at all he says he's going to take. What if he remains silent? That means my pain is endless. So in this pain, can I do vipassana? It's foolishness. What vipassana can I do? Yeah, I could have done on the beach and the sand. Yeah, that makes sense. But the mind is occupied in the far shore. So how can it do a vipassana on the near shore? Unless it becomes a near shore, it's restless. So what I can see now is Udacha is completely occupied. So how can I do vipassana? Because there's no samathā. There's no equanimous state. So without reaching an equanimous state, how can I ever try to see what is Rupa, what is Vedana, what is Sanya, all of that. It looks really not even an intellectual, but waste of time, at least in my case. Because my mind, the I as the mind, is established in Gold Coast. For whatever reason, I started watching the videos, I fell in love with Gold Coast. Now, this consciousness is experiencing Gold Coast. It's in Gold Coast. Even if I want to cut it, there's nothing to cut because I myself is Gold Coast now. What happens? It is established consciousness. It established on that name and form object, which then makes a circle around between the name and form and the conscious experience. Now I'm consciously experience Gold Coast without being there. Meaning, without being there means without physically being there. The only difference here is this body has not traveled to Gold Coast, but mentally it is in Gold Coast. So every day is a pain because it's 9th of Jan when he would take me. And he's not even committing to that 9th of Jan. I'm pushing it, saying that at least 9th of Jan, and there's no answer from him. So that means my pain is endless. The suffering I'm going, the dukkha is endless. And I don't know, with all of this, he's not having compassion as well. If I were him, I would have said, don't worry, I'll take you whenever you want. 30th? Yeah, once you land in airport, we'll drive to Gold Coast. What a relief. But the next question to be asked is, what will you do in Gold Coast? That's what it is. What will you do? Can you give me your ideas on Gold Coast? What will you do? Now here is essencelessness can be found. I will walk. Okay. I will sit. Okay. I will eat. Okay. I will urinate. Okay. I will sweat. Okay. Then I will see. Okay. Then I will hear. Okay. Then, then what then? And what will you do? You tell me. Other than these, what will you do? Wait, let me tell you. I will eat. Okay, fine. I will see. Done. Granted. I will hear. Okay. I'll touch the sand and water. Great. What else? I'll smell. Okay. And I will think. Okay, then wait a second. So if you keep on seeing this, there's nothing other than this I'll be doing in Gold Coast. There's absolutely nothing. Suddenly, a light dawns in me. Now, what I've been doing here, I'm seeing, I'm smelling, I'm tasting, I'm touching. What else am I doing? Isn't this essenceless? Totally no sense. There's nothing out there. That means even if Shaniel were to drive me, I don't know how much kilometers is there between his house and Gold Coast, and then maybe hundreds of kilometers or whatever kilometer that is. What I would do there is actually urinate. And that's it. So I'm going to search for a restroom. I'll go and relieve myself because I have to drink water. It's very hot. You keep on drinking water, otherwise you get dehydrated. When you say dehydration means there's no water. So you fill your body with water. Then you go out, which the beach will take out the water. So in order not to take out water, you again drink water to get into the restroom. So in one single shot, if I can get into samatha, this is vipassana. what I just now did. For this, the samatha should be there. Now, what am I going to do is vipassana. That's what shows you. It leads you there. I don't have to be memorizing on the suttas, but I can ask this question. Vilas, what are you going to do in Shaniel's home? Just a question. Then there's nothing. There again, I'm seeing, I'm hearing, I'm tasting, I'm touching, smelling, and thinking. It's exactly what I'm doing here. So, what's the difference between this smell and that smell? No difference. This sight and that sight? No difference. This sound and that sound? No difference. This taste and that taste. In fact, now I am troubling Shaniel to take me to an Indian store where we can buy some groceries and of Indian kind. That poor guy didn't have to do this if he had not called me there. But now, for my sake, he has to go and buy an Indian stuff. Let's say it's permissible. So then I'm searching for what? I'm searching for known food. It's still a food. It's not my food. It's just some known food. So this difference here is an unknown food and a known food. It's not Indian food. It's known food. You've been used to something. So then it's better to eat what is known because the body is used to that. So what am I doing is to feed the habituation. That's it. So am I now in samatha? And it's yes. So can I do vipassana? I think yes. I'm eligible enough to do vipassana. Now, what I can do? I can sit and divide into 5 parts. The first part representing the rupa, the form. So, Gold Coast is a form. It's created of something. You just name a beach. And when you go to the beach, there's no beach out there except for sand and the water and the foam. There's a sound, a typical sound of a wave. It doesn't matter whether it was seen in Golden Gate or seen in Silver Gate or in Gold Coast or Sunshine Coast or this coast or that coast, it doesn't matter. It's just a designation given to something, but what you're hearing is just the water gushing from one place and hitting another one and another one, and it gives you a perplexed vision of continuity, but it is not one wave or the other wave, and another wave or the other wave when it comes to the shore. Now, if I'm a vipassi, an investigator and a samatha person, what I would do, I will sit there, take one of that wave and synchronize my breath with that. Now, what happens? Breath and the waves becomes one and the same. As the in-breath comes in, you fill up. So, in the same way, when the water is coming, let's say I'm sitting there and I put my legs down and then I'm just sitting and the waves have gone back. It is exhale. And when the coming in is inhale. So now I can do ajjata bahita, internal, external. Is there an internal earth element of anyone? No. Is there an internal water element of anyone? No, because if you synchronize your breath with the beach water, like what we did in San Francisco Beach, myself and Chirag and Vrinda and Aryu, so we showed them how to do it, but they couldn't do it properly, but still that's a thing. If you can synchronize, exact synchronization takes you some minutes to synchronize, and when you synchronize, you let go of you. There's no you, it's just waves. And what is this body? Just a wave. So, what we call as vibration is nothing but waves. What did I see? Just a collection of waves. So, at that moment, it's completely gone. Now, what is gone? Avidya. The I-ness is gone. So if I-ness is gone, then is there a beach separated out of this body? And the answer is no, because they both are the same elements, same composition. So if the same composition can then be anything internal and external, ajata bahita, no. So if there's no internal and external, is there anything called as atita, past, anagata, future, pachupanna, present? No. Is there any olarika, gross, sukuma, subtle? No. So if I look at in these ways, then I can see this doesn't belong to me at all. It's just a phenomenon. Like the waves arising, it comes, it's real, it's come, and goes back. I don't have control over the waves coming and hitting on, let's say, on my feet, and there is no thing when it goes back. Like I and Bobby in Sunshine Coast, and I was showing him there's a foam created and there were some twigs and it's showing like a deer. I have a photograph of that. Maybe I'll try to get that for you to show you in a second how the mind is perplexed. Let me see if I can bring that out. Or wait. I was showing that to Bobby, that how we can meditate. Give me a sec if I have it. Ah, it's there. I think I've shown it earlier, but still it's good to practice. This I found it on Sunshine Coast. Doesn't it look like an animal? And if you say yes, you already made it up. Okay, and there's a foam. So what you saw is something what you can create. So we saw an animal on that beach, which is filled with foam. And this body is also made out of the same foam. There's no difference between that one and this one. So if like what Buddha says, chakkuma puriso, it means one with good eyesight would see there's essencelessness in this. If he has samathā, so what you all are practicing, especially the Australian group on TMI, I think you should continue doing that rather than getting distracted. Because until you reach sixth or seventh stage, at least 8 stages, if not all the 10 stages, what Chuladasa is saying, it's no good to do vipassana. Because you don't have that ability to penetrate. You require a state of mind which helps you in penetration. So what I was telling Shenial is that while I'm there, we should only practice the TMI approach. Other than the vipassana part, which I'll be dealing with, I think we all need to synchronize with what Chuladasa is saying. from that is from 30th of November till the 10th of Jan, our samatha practice is only that. Whether you're doing it at your home or not doing it, or you want to do it there only, doesn't matter. But no distraction that, oh, I think I'll do that one and this one and nothing. You don't have samatha. So there's no point in fooling oneself that I can do vipassana. Not possible. Now we come to the section of vipassana. Vipassana is to see, and vipassana is to completely see. That is like just getting into the bottom of things, the root of things, what it is. So when I say I am, means what? Where is this I am coming from? That's vipassana. So if the mind is stilled, like what I've been telling, that my mind is still, then the vipassana is a easy thing to do. So what it takes to get there is what I want to cover. Is that first the samatha portion has 4 jhanas. So you need to have an ability to get into the rupa jhana and establish into the 4th. It's a must. And if you look at samma samadhi, Buddha also talks about 4 jhanas. There's nowhere you can say the jhanas are not mentioned in the suttas or anywhere. In fact, the samma samadhi itself is jhana. So don't get fooled saying that there's no jhana. Right? And then you are not in samma samadhi. And then we are talking about lokuttara jnana, which is beyond this jhanas. That is separate. But first, you need to have this noble eightfold path completely done. Done means just like in software development programming, we put doneness. What is the meaning of done? What are the aspects should be covered? And somebody is verifying and saying, yeah, this is done and this is done and this is done. So like that, you need to also have something like a checklist which says, yes, I'm done with this. It's completely done. And if it's done, you are ready for vipassana. Now, when I say I'm extensively watching, what is that I'm watching? I'm watching the aggregates, which are in upadana, meaning it's grasping. So what I'm grasping? I'm grasping to the experience. Like when I was in Sunshine Coast in April with Bobby, we just went to a beach because we were just walking around and we just hit into the beach and I lost my slipper as well. It was a funny experience. Anyway, so in this beach, if you could see, there's no difference between this beach and any other beach. The only difference here is that they had like in the US, your tornado, they had a hurricane, and then it spoiled half of this Sunshine Coast with a lot of debris and a lot of this foam. What you're seeing is not a real one, meaning there are a lot of things which have gone wrong in that place. But anyway, uh, that one, what we just now saw, has no essence. So what I should do is, as a vipassy, just sit on the beach and synchronize and see the body disappearing at once. With the body disappearing, and then the rupa is gone. Now you are in arupa jhanas. So you come to the infinite space, because now there's only space between the ocean or the sea or the Pacific Ocean where we're sitting and the Golden Gate Bridge of the Pacific Ocean, both being Pacific. The concept of near shore and far shore is remote. Near shore being the Sunshine Coast, and the far shore being, let's take the San Francisco Bay Area. They're just a coast, but coast from what? From a relative standpoint. You relate to this to that and say this is far and that is near. But if there were no relativity, there's no general principle of relativity anywhere. then can a measurement be made? But there's no measurement. So the general theory of relativity works when something is related to another, just like Patisamutpada. If avidya is related to sankhara, then it is relative to the avidya. The sankhara is that much far or near is sankhara as long as the avidya is held. If the avidya is not held, then the sankhara has no point there. What I can do is, sitting on the beach, I can cut off this body, which takes me to infinite space, and then it takes me to infinite consciousness. Reason being that there's no six established consciousness any longer. It's just a functional consciousness. What is said to Bahya by the Buddha in seeing there's only seeing is just a functional consciousness. There's nothing beyond it. There's no name and form getting created of the beach or this or that or whatever it is. It's just an emptiness, which is shunyata. It's just empty of anything around there. So the consciousness is empty of any substance. And if it is true, then it gets into no self state, which is akinchayatana. And then the perception stops because there is nothing to perceive or anyone to have an experience. So then both the feeling and the perceptions are gone. Meaning I'm in the beach, but there's no experience because there's nothing to be experienced. So there's no witness to have something to witness. If a witness is there, then something is there to witness. If something is cannot be has an witness, how can you have something to be witnessed then? Then that's the end of suffering. As far as Nirodha Samapatti goes. But I'll go one step further. When I come back from there, I will leave out the moha of this beach, what I'm having. So let's say, for argument's sake, that Chenial, after hearing to all of this, will take me to Gold Coast on 30th, even though it is tiring that I've traveled so far and we dump the bag and we still go that much distance to Gold Coast on a hypothetical ground, which makes no sense, but still, for me, it makes sense. So then we go there, and then before the Gold Coast is reached, the person and the Gold Coast are dead. So then, is there any conditionality left? And it is not. And that is complete vipassana. What I can do is I can have a samatha practice and I can have a vipassana of 5 aggregates. So the grasping is seen. Either I was grasping on the rupa, which is Gold Coast, and the Vedana of the Gold Coast, which is the experience I'm getting, pleasurable experience, and I'm seeing a lot of things on YouTube. Now, earlier, we used to go there. Now you can watch in 4K resolution as well. It's just like being there. So, and thanks to Ariu for gifting me the Meta glasses, and then I can go to YouTube and I can have a near experience in 4K resolution. So I'm seeing there, witnessing the Gold Coast. It's virtually being there. So the only thing missing point is that physically being there, right? But still, virtually, I can get there. So I put on that glasses, and thanks to Niket and Madhulika for giving me another Meta glasses. So Meta over Meta becomes Meta square. So I put that glass with this one, and then I'm sitting and watching the splendor of Gold Coast. Now when I see it, if there is an establishment of consciousness, the vipassana is gone. The samatha is gone. What if the samatha exists completely, and then you sit and watch that, and the Gold Coast is gone? So then it is essenceless. Okay. So then what did I do? I removed the avijja. That's one, only one. And every link in that formula or in the dependent origination collapses. Because one reed cannot hold the other. It has to be like this. So one holds the other. Like what Sariputta explains in the Mahahatti-Padopoma Sutta, that this is one reed and this is another reed. Just like you can't have one reed removed and then make the other reed stand. You require a support system. So avijja support system is the sankhara, and the sankhara support system is the avijja. Now, if you remove avijja, the sankhara cannot take place, and the sankhara is removed, the avijja cannot take place because they both are conditionally co-arising. Meaning, as long as avijja is there, so long as sankhara is going to be there. You can't cut out the sankhara and leave the avijja, and you can't keep the avijja and remove the sankhara, because they are conjoined pairs, just like rebirth and decay and death. As long as there is rebirth, you can't just hold on to the rebirth as birth and I don't want to die. It's not going to happen, because if something is born, it goes through cessation. Now we can say, is it only with humans and animals and all of this, or even non-conscious beings, non-conscious things, like in the case of mobile phones or in the case of whatever we have, car or whatever. Now let's take the scenario, including the country names. You see this. If you ask, when did US become independent? What will be the answer? You'll have to find an Independence Day. Otherwise, it is dependent. But you ask this question, is it really independent? No, it's dependent. Now you see this fun. Day one of independence is the birth of that country. Those festivities. Day two, 1 year, first year birthday of that country. Now, in case of India, they say it is 78 years or whatever years of independence. From whom? That means somebody was holding it to get it independent. So we say that it is from Great Britain. Okay, let's take this word, Great and Britain. When did Britain become great? This very difficult to answer this question. Britain, I understand. What is great about Britain? The greatness of the Britain is they acquired countries. And they made English as a language of all over the world. That's the reason they're great. There's no other reason why they're great. And in the Australian flag, you'll find the GB flag. Okay, and in New Zealand flag, also there is GB flag. That means Great Britain is somehow part of it, which becomes Commonwealth countries. That means nobody can have their own wealth. It is Commonwealth. It's common to those countries. So nice. So it is born. So it is going to die. Yes, slowly, 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 each country became independent from Great Britain. And in 1776, United Kingdom or Great Britain put a tax on tea for the Europeans who were settling down in American waters. What they did, they threw the tea in the sea in the Atlantic Ocean. And that's called dumping of tea. So the vessels which carried the tea, they dumped it. And in 1776, they became independent from Great Britain. So they made it United States of America. And that's it. That's the end of the suffering. That means they dumped the tea and they became independent. And what were they holding? The tea. So what did they do? Dump the tea. So they became independent. If you really see this child play, so what were you holding here? Some toy. And the mother and father promised, I'll give you a better toy. Come on. Open this, open, child, open. See, there's nothing there. I'll give you this toy. So all that we are doing is like childlike toy works. And hence we are called Putu Jana. Putu means like a child. Jana means person, people who don't have sense, actually, that they will hold on to something, upadana, and they think is real. It's 100% real. So what they did, the English and the French and the Dutch and all of these guys went into America. And they're all same Europeans, but they dumped the tea in Boston. It's called Boston Tea Party. And this said will not pay taxes at all to English crown. Now we are independent. Okay, agreed. But how will you grow the country? You require English again. So now it's two countries. English as Great Britain and United States. They jointly work out to create a country. They made roads, bridges, blah, blah, all of that. And they acquired land from Mexico and became 50 states country. Same thing with Australia. It's a prisoner of war place, meaning one, the World War One and World War Two, if you were to send to someone who can never return back to their home country, is Australia. And the very place, Brisbane, is filled with bones. And what did they do? They made the prisoners of war to build the roads and all of that things. So now we love Australia. Right? So now you can conceptualize anything, and when you go deep into it, you'll find the cause of suffering is this upadana, that Australia is a good place to stay, like America is a good place to stay, and this place is a good place to stay. So near shore, far shore. So from this shore, I move to that shore because that shore is better to stay. Which maybe I'm not saying it's not, but really, if I see the vipassana side of it, there's nothing being done. There's absolutely nothing being done except for seeing, tasting, touching, smelling, and thinking. Hearing. Sorry, I missed hearing. Other than that, what is that is being done? And all have essencelessness, meaning you can't fill up. The sight cannot be filled up. The moment you move from that place, that sight is gone. Sound, you move from that place, the sound is gone. Taste, you move from that place, the taste is gone. Touch, you move from that place, it's gone. Thoughts, you move out from that place of thinking, it's gone. So, in a sense, it's shunya, empty. So I left this avidya, the sankharas have no meaning to it. Because Depending on avijja is sankhara. And if there's no dependency, there's no avijja at all. So what should I do? For the whole day, what do you think I should be doing? This was a question what Shaniel was asking me, that how do we do it? Is you wash the five aggregates and everything. He has a tennis court. Now, tennis court is a name arrived because there is tennis ball. It's just a ball, but we call it as tennis ball because it's a place to play tennis. What if he thinks, oh, sorry, he arrives at the thing called it is made out of rubber with fur on that. That means he dissected it. He finds there is no tennis in the ball. In anywhere in the ball, he can't find tennis except for a fur and a ball made out of rubber. If he cut that into two parts, which is done for his dining table, he has put those cutout things, I guess. So if he sees that, there is, when you cut those two, it cuts off the tennis ball experience. In the same way, what Buddha is saying is take your body, cut it into four parts. Okay? Just like he gives an example, just like a cow being cut up in four parts. So in the first session, what we had with these people coming in May, I asked them to do it. It was too aggressive for some people, so they had a lot of pain coming out of their um, experience. They start crying and all of that because it's really hard to cut your own husband and wife and children and all that. Something you can't take it. But anyway, I thought they are so mature to do it, so I tried experimenting it. That experiment failed, terribly failed. But coming back to this, just like the tennis ball being cut into two parts, and can I cut this body into four parts? Just for seeing what is inside. I could see there's only four dhatus and nothing else. That means the avijja this is full-fledged body, and the sankhara is to maintain this body in the shape and structure. So what I do is I cut it into four parts in the same way Shaniel can cut that balls into two parts, and he sees that tennis court what he has is no tennis court because the ball itself is not there. Then can he remove the net which separates two things? There's a defensive and an offensive. Does that means a person playing is defending it and one standing here is offending it? The game can be played only if two players are there. Otherwise, there's nothing to be played there. So you always require somebody to offend you to defend. What if by chance you see there's no offender and a defender? The game is over. Because there is no resistance on the other side. The game is a game when there is resistance. A company is a company when there is a competitor. If there is no competitor, then there's no company also. Because you survive on competition. And just to take it still more further, you survive because there is market. And the market is only there when there is demand. That means there is supply only based upon demand. If there were no demand, there can't be anything to supply. So this also goes in the same fashion, dual. As long as resistance is there, then there is something to resist it. What if you apply the Buddha strategy of no resistance? Meaning, you just give up. Now, can any tension be found if you give up? Let's say somebody abuses me, which Archana ji was talking about yesterday. He abuses me and I take it. It's a gift now, it's taken. If it is taken, there is suffering. because now I have to gift it to somebody because I can't take that gift on myself. So then I have to give it to someone. Either I have to give it back to the person who said about me, or I have to then give it to someone, or I have to instigate someone to talk to that someone so that that someone will stop doing what he is doing so that I don't have to suffer. It's all about my suffering. So I have to first make another person suffer, and that person will make another person suffer so that that person can talk to that actual person who is suffering to not suffer so that I don't suffer. This is a big cycle. So what I do is I don't take it. It's fine. Abuse is part of life, okay? And that's why the reason it is called eight Lokya Dhamma. So if somebody is praising, we'll ask, please understand there'll be someone ready in few days, few months, few years to blame. They both are the same. If you fly when somebody is praising you, be ready to go in underground and somebody blames you. Because you can't take one part and leave the other part because they are conjoined pairs. That means just like a coin has two sides, you can't have one side and then forget all about the other side. Same way, I can't have the pleasantness happening without the pain. It's going to be conjoined. Conjoined means you can't separate them, it's part of it. So, what do I do? Yesterday, I was telling Archana ji that just drop it. No point in replying to that. Just leave it. It'll die on its own. At the max, what is going to happen? I will not have any followers at all. Excellent. What's the biggest gift I can have is just sit and watch your breath and finish your journey rather than worrying over it. What's the worst thing that can happen? Let's take the worst case scenario. Somebody is going to abuse you. Okay, great. Somebody is going to hit you. Okay. Somebody is going to kill you. Other than that, what can the max thing that can happen? Anyhow, any which way, you will go out of existence on your own. If somebody leaves you with happiness, also, you will go out of existence. So why don't you go out of existence before Mara catches you? The best thing. So somebody abuses because somebody is praising. See, but the abuse is coming because somebody is praising. Meaning somebody is blaming because somebody is getting appreciated. Like in our job, even as an employee, I'm praised because it is working, and I will be blamed quite soon if the very thing is not working. Then they would say, why did we take you to make things happen? So now that avidya is here, that I am taking the praise, but I am excluding the blame. Right? I want the praise, not the blame. Let's say I were to react yesterday when Archana ji said, and this is happening, how and this and that. In fact, if that person is right, he is absolutely or she is absolutely right because I started reacting to it. Meaning, I don't want to take the blame. I want to justify. There's no point in justifying something when that very thing doesn't exist. So, what's there to justify is their point of view, which is fair. Everybody can have their own point of view of anything and accept it. Yeah, you can have the point of view. Excellent. So when I do that, there is no anutpada. That was the thing what I wrote, what I shared with all of you, the anutpada nibbana dhatu. That means there is no creation. Yesterday, all the six I can see in what Archana said. It's anutpada. It didn't arise. That means the peace, what I had, never shook with what I was reading. I was reading what she shared. But just observing. Ah, okay. Makes sense. From their viewpoint, it makes sense. Yeah. Just like on the job, somebody says that you are not performing well. It's right from their point of view. It may be true, but from my point of view, I'm done everything. But yeah, there's some shortfalls, some misunderstanding or misinterpretation, whatever it is, there is. So then the question comes, should I justify it? And in my, why should I justify? There's no need to justify anything. So when there is nothing to justify, is there anything that can make me suffer? And the answer is no. So first thing, pick it. That means I was so smiling, even though she shared it, and she was having distress. How can they do like this? Why? They can. Why should I think they can't? In fact, they should. You should shake them up. Oh, I'm here to abuse you. Let's see what happens. So then you'll say, oh my goodness, this is too much to take. And if it is true, they won the game, and you should concede because that's the truth. You couldn't take it, or I couldn't take it. Now, can I do this with 5 aggregates? What I experienced yesterday, can I cut it into 5 parts? That person, or that thing, or that event into 5 parts. This is Rupa form, which has got nothing to do with me. This is feeling. It's not nothing to do with me. This is perception, nothing to do with me. This is the preparation or choices they have, and that's the experience they are getting. Is there anything to do with me? No. So I got yatha bhuta jnana. I mean, things as they are, not as they are presented. So those wordings and whatever is there is their views. And everybody has or, you know, uh, rights to their views. Fair. Fair argument. So should I then argue with them? No. That means I'm not conditioning. I removed out the avijja. The sankhara is not there. That's the third one. That means I didn't instigate Archana ji to do something because she was thinking what she should do. She wanted to respond, but then she thought that if I respond and there'll be a lot of discussion. So she wrote to me, I'm feeling uneasy, so I gave her a call. She could have responded to that chat message, whatever she was. As it is, she was in distress. If I fuel it, then it's fire. So what happens? She'll write something, and I will write something to her to answer. Then she'll post it back to me, and then I will answer back. And I post it back, and I answer back, post it back, answer back. So by the time we spend 2-3 hours, it's completely drained, and then the anger is going and flaring, and all of that is happening. So instead of drowsing the fire, I am instigating it. Why? Because of nidasana. Nidasana means there is an occupant. It's established. Now, what is this establishment? This is established on something which somebody has said about me. And there's no name of that person, but she knows. And then now I'm reacting to that person because that person is known to me. So now I create an imaginary person who doesn't sit here and pour all the angers and frustration and all of that on that person, and I respond to it, which 99.99% will be fuming. So what it shows, if somebody is claiming to an anagami, he shouldn't have vyapada. The moment I instigate Archana to reply, it's sure what that person is saying is true. and what she's understanding is untrue. Because in the hour of crisis, you got vyapada. Why that happened? Because I want to protect myself. That means Kamachanda is there, right? So you're saying you're an anagami. How? When you are having irritation for something which was said not directly to you, but through someone, and we gave our opinion, why are you feeling so upset? So what should I do now? I should go and apologize saying that I'm not an anagami at all, honestly. Because I've not only done this wrong thing, I have instigated a person to do a wrong thing. It's even more worse. I getting lost in Dhamma is fine. But that poor lady is in trouble because she will not grow because I have made her life miserable. So what did I tell her? Just let it go. So what happened? I'm not suffering with that. That means the Vijnana Nirodha happened. That Vijnana, that established Vijnana. Didn't she feel happy yesterday? You can ask her only. Maybe why I should. She doesn't have to name the person or anything, but the situation. Maybe Archana, if you want to say, you can, because that is real practical of what we did yesterday. If you want to, otherwise there's no force.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm part of a one WhatsApp group, dedicated group, in fact, and I'm very much connected with that group. And when suddenly one message popped up about somebody said that I heard the talks of Vilas, and he explained it so well, but then he explains it in a tricky way, and then one message was from one person on that, then other lady who is also part of our Hindi Dhamma group. So she said ki our MA Pali students are also part of it, and I'm so surprised. How can they be part of this group when there is no? There were some allegations which I don't want don't want to share it here. So which really hurt me, that why because I'm being part of this group since 1 year, last September, and I got benefited so much. So I felt very sad when I read that, without going into depth of it, we are putting these allegations. So there is some, she gives a reference of some third person who actually attended the session at Vilas's home, and then that lady again said something. So it disturbed my mind. But then when I sent, I thought instead of discussing with third person, it's better to talk to the Vilasa directly. So I forwarded him same messages. And then he spoke to me and he told me, I liked one thing that he asked me, how did you take it? Means when it came, have I taken it? So that was true actually. I felt I was hurt inside. So I have taken that, right? Means I should have just let it go. But then I was not able to do that. But then when he said, if you just learn to see that you divide it into five khandas, and then it won't stay like that. Or even when Buddha was there, allegations were even on him. So when some good thing is happening, there is some negative thing also happening at the same time. So you have to see it that way and just wait for a few days, and everything will be fine. So I really like that. Yeah, my mind was really disturbed. I didn't like it, what happened. But then after talking to sir, then I could understand. At first moment, what I've seen, that I was seeing my progress, how I take it. So it was very helpful. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure. So the basic thing is, if I had instigated, this is putting fire. This just keeps burning. So now what they are saying is true. It's tricky because he's not experienced anything. He's just talking because he knows some subject, which is the fact. In fact, I should appreciate that person, because then I have to go back and say, hey, you just did a right thing. You expose something which should be exposed, right? So the first impression of reading that, I read the whole thing out. Well, okay, it's good. That means somebody is really watching, right? Somebody is really watching. That's fine. So may them also get what they have to get. Because ultimately, we are coming out of suffering. And suffering is what? From the rebirth cycle. It doesn't matter who is teaching whom and how it is being taught. As long as you are able to get the Dhamma, not the person, it makes sense. So when this Nirodha happens, it just erases out everything. So when I was speaking to her, I didn't feel anything. I just said, just let it go. There's no need to respond. There's no need to get agitated. There's no need to get worried. Even if it were to be true, from their sense, what would happen? They would ask many people from this group to go away, which is fair. It doesn't matter. Is it affecting you? And if it's affecting me, and then the problem starts. Because what they said is right. If you're not an anagami, you will get affected by this. Because you have not even crossed Sakadagami, the 8 worldly pursuits. That means I've to come down to Sotapanna. If somebody is instigating and I'm getting worked up, and even Sotapanna is not true. Forget anything else. So when put under stress, what do you get? Is the most important. So I went through the entire Patisamuttpada cycle yesterday while talking to her, that what causes what. So this being, this comes to be, which is what I was telling Shaniel. So let's play this game. This being, this comes to be. That is, the message coming, the reaction comes to be. With the arising of the message, the reaction arises. Until that time, there was nothing. If she had not forwarded that message, the thing is, where? Now I'm getting message. Oh, what is he sending? Now, 3 things are required to get worked up. Number 1 is the language. Number 2 is the emotion of that language, which I'm creating it. Number 3 is a person. Now the language. The language uses a language, but the emotion changes the language. That means I'm going to read out and see what is said about me. His teachings are very good, Sukha Vedana, but very tricky person, Dukkha Vedana. Okay. And then he mixes this, he mixes that, and blah, blah, all that is there. That is Dukkha Vedana. So the Sukha Vedana was only the first line. The remaining lines are all Dukkha Vedana. And then there is a person 1, he says, yeah, I think person 2, person 3, blah, 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 all that is happening. So then what is happening? It ended up starting with a Sukha Vedana, ended up in a Dukkha Vedana, because there is phassa, contact. Contact with what? With what? Contact with the language, contact with the emotions, and contact as a person. When I create a person called Vilas, then only I can experience what is said to Vilas. If Vilas is no one, can it ever happen that it can be experienced? No. So I was laughing later. 1, appreciation. 2, depreciation. On where? On a chat. Is that you? By chance, is that you? You can delete that message if you want. Why react? You can delete it. You can just press hold, delete. That's it. Why? Another thing, somebody abuses you, don't like it, block that number. Over. Right? Why should you get react? Meaning, why should I react? There's so many ways of coming out of. Is that a right way of doing things? No. It's ignorance, avijja. You take it, you watch it, you see what it is, cut it into 5 parts. This is rupa, this is feeling, vedana, this is sanya, perception, this is sankhara, preparation or choices, and then vijnana, the experience provider. Now you see this. When, when that is read out, there is shaking. Chittam yasyana kampati, but there's kampana. Very moment there is shaking of the mind, it means that a person has not reached anagami. Delete. This is wrong thing. Then I have to apologize in front of everyone here. And I have to ask Shenil to cancel this flight ticket. It's not true. When put in test, you failed it. You might have good grasp of the knowledge of whatever you got it, appreciate it. But no. And I have to tell everyone, please get out from this group. You don't have to be associated with me. Why? It's not worth it. Honestly, it's not worth it. Because you'll not gain anything. And that person said it right. In fact, you have to go and join that group rather than joining my group. Joining me, it makes no sense. Now, if that is true, that is, you give up, then the 8 Lokiya Dhamma are gone. Because chittam yasya na kampati asokam virajam khemam. Now you see this. Was there a soka, sorrow, that I did so much for that lady who came here and this and that? No, nothing. Asokam virajam khemam. That means I am safe. I didn't take it. I mean, I didn't take it in the sense that I didn't ignore it. I didn't disregard it. Like what Buddha says, anybody says anything to you, don't accept, don't reject. Investigate and see, is that true? Have you done that? If you've done that, correct it. If you've not done that, continue whatever you're doing. So every time these people go and they go to one group and they abuse that bhikkhus, and then the bhikkhus try arguing and they abuse them, and then they come back to Buddha saying that this happened. And Buddha says, good bhikkhus, you did the right thing. You neither accepted or you rejected, but you're investigating. Good. And if you find after investigation what they say is true, to go back and appreciate them. If by chance you investigate, you find you are right, don't go back and beat them. Wish them metta, that may them also get clarity. So for that group which is written whatever is written, which has made her Sunday bad, she should just pass metta to all of them. Yes, fine, it happens. Leave it. So then that comes to the 6th one, what I had mentioned in that document, is it is shunyata, empty. Otherwise, it would come back to life. Meaning, her Sunday would have got spoiled completely with this discussion going up and down and up and down and up and down, because she will get irritated with whatever they are talking and they are going to write now bad things. Then she will pass it to me. I get it worked up and then I reply back to her. She copies it and sends it to them. And in the end of it, one of them has to concede. If no one concedes, it's a fight, it's a quarrel. Now, that's the reason there is a sutta also called Kalaha Vivada Sutta. And then I'm preaching Kalaha Vivada, and then I'm instigating her to do quarrels and disputes, which makes no sense. So I'm not understood Buddha Dhamma at all. But since I didn't do that, I looked at all the 6 steps, or I did all the 6 steps mentioned there. And thanks to Shaniel for making that a nice PDF document and sharing it. Excellent thing. Whether it's ChatGPT or whatever it is, it's fine. The way it is, he has prompted it, the way it is done is superb. When I saw that one-page document when he shared in that TMI group, and I was wanting to share it in the global group as well so that people can benefit from that. And there are 6 things what you need to do to become an arhat, actually. And one last thing, you don't have to worry about in 7 days a person will die or something like that. Nothing like that. When you reach there, you get to see what it is. And when you reach at Anagami, you will know you're an Anagami. When you reach at Sakatagami, you know you're a Sakatagami. No matter whether somebody appreciates it, it depreciates it, it would be the same. It's not that you should rely on me. You should rely on the Dhamma. Show you. Don't rely on any person. Rely on the Dhamma. Because person is consequential. Dhamma is eternal. So this is what we will be practicing in Shenial's home in every condition. That is from washing of the dishes to cleaning the vegetables, cutting the vegetables, to making up the rooms and toilets and this and that, and walking and talking and all the waking hours. We will be doing samatha and vipassana all the time. Meaning whoever is joining on 30th of November should remember that you will not be doing an exclusive thing. That is, you think you're serving me and Shaniel and we will sit and meditate. Nothing is of that is going to happen. We all will cook, we all will clean, we all will do all activities, and we meet up just like the assembly center. When we meet up and we see what did we learn out of this? Where was the mind? Where's the mindfulness? How much mindful were we? And then that's how we practice. And then we do the samatha part of it, of TMI, then get into vipassana, then again TMI, vipassana, TMI, vipassana, like that. And when Aryu and Mrutyunjay and others are going to join in there, it's going to continue on the same foundation. There won't be any change. So there won't be any change between me and Sheniel working together, except for some things which I want Sheniel to know more. Not that you shouldn't be knowing it, you can know it, but it will become a theoretical exercise rather than anything practical. So, but if you can get it, why not? You should. But we both require some time, and we'll do something, and then basically everybody does everything. So no exclusivity, nothing like you'll prepare food and you'll serve like a teacher being sitting there, and then we'll say sadhu, 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 and all that. Nothing like that. It's just straight and simple, all same level. No hierarchical that, oh, you're sitting there or I'm sitting down. Nothing like that. We shouldn't be pretentious. We should have all of that in our mind rather than physical. Physically, we are the same. If you have reverence, have it in the mind. Don't have to have physical reverence. That makes no sense. We need to be ourselves. We need to be comfortable. So let's make each other's life comfortable than complicated. So you don't have to do special things for me. And same rule holds good to Shaniel. Whatever is there at house, We will try to eat and clean and do all that. It's everything. I will clean the toilet, so I will clean the washrooms and what is that? The house, because he's giving the house, we need to keep the house tidy. All the things be done as a normal thing. Nothing special, no special. Then you can see whether the person has ego. If you give him ego and you say that he should not have ego, it is foolishness. You first put him on a high pedestal and then you expect him not to have ego. Ask him to come down. Come down. You can't go up, but he can come down. So let him do that. And not for one day, for the next 42 days. No hierarchy and no ranking. And he shouldn't be choosing where I'm going to sleep. Oh, this is meant for Vilasji and we will make him comfortable. Nothing like that. It's anywhere, floor to mat to whatever comes by. Easy on that day. Not if 14, 15 people are there and we are finding shortage of staying facilities, we can spread out wherever it comes and then sleep and be good. Doesn't matter. So Shani, you don't have to do anything special. So it's all 5 aggregates with 5 aggregates with another 5 aggregates and another 5 aggregates, and that's it. There's nothing like what Viren had put. I'm going with my 5 aggregate. That's nice. If he really does it, he's done it. Good. Okay, that's all I had. Any questions? I think I've made all of you silent.
Sounds good, Vilasji. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. So that's what we'll be doing. And that's what we're going to continue till the 29th of November. On morning, I can do the session and I can fly. And 30th, I'm there. So we'll do the same, but in different approaches and how we should practice. So the practice here is that you see everything and cut it into 5 parts and see what happens. And then see there is a upadana, that is the clinging to it. Like I would have clinged on to what she has written there. And once the clinging happens, the dukkha vedana starts. Till that time, there's no dukkha vedana. She got into pain because she held on to this view that I am very good teacher. She got a nice teacher whom she had not got earlier. How can they say this to him? So the pain starts. Now, how to come out of pain? Cut the rupa. The feeling is gone. For that, we need to have samathā. And Niket, you're looking smart without that mustache and beard.
Thank you, sir.
You had a nice beard. So now I'm feeling like I was seeing Bobby. He also had a complete beard and mustache. Anyway, looking good. Good on you. Okay, should we end or have any questions or all good?
Yeah, I need to drop anyway.
Yeah, sure. You can drop. Yeah. Good day to you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone here wanting to ask any questions or should we end? All good. We can end.